Good evening. I'd like to call this Tuesday, June 21st, 2016 meeting of Middletown City Council to order. If you please stand and join me in a moment of meditation and the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Gank, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Bronston.
Here.
Mr. Bohannon.
Here.
Mr. Moon. Mr. Picard. Mayor Mulligan.
Here. I'll entertain a motion to excuse Mr. Moon and Mr. Picard. Both had conflicts this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Gank, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bohannon.
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan.
Yes.
Ms. Bronston.
Yes.
All right, our first order of business this evening is a public hearing regarding the 2017 tax budget for the city of Middletown. I'd like to invite our finance director, Jacob Burton, down to present the information. Good evening.
Mayor and Council. As you stated, this is the 2017 tax budget, public hearing for that. The city is required by Ohio Revised Code to annually prepare and submit the tax budget to the county by July 20th of each year. As a part of that process, we have to have a public hearing, which is what this is. The purpose of the tax budget is to establish the 2017 resources or estimated revenue that may be appropriated and spent in the 2017 city budget. The tax budget also demonstrates the need for the 2017 tax revenue. The city submits this to the county budget commission then reviews, and they judge the reasonableness of the tax levies. The resources or estimated revenue we show in the tax budget will then be what the county uses to limit our 2017 appropriations. The city currently levies 6.9 mils, 4.15 which are unrestricted and go to the general fund, and 2.75 which are restricted. 1 mil is for the senior services levy, 1 mil is for capital improvements, 0.6 mil is for the police and fire pension, and then 0.15 mil is for the Miami Conservancy. We are estimating 1 mil to generate revenue of approximately $600,000 next year. I'd be happy to answer any questions you all may have.
Any questions from council this evening for Mr. Burton?
I had one question, and it has nothing to do with the projection there. I wanted to ask about the expenditures that will be increasing, that we project to increase next year versus the increase in our revenue.
Correct.
Why is the expenditures so much higher? I think they're like double.
I guess first let me say that's all preliminary. That's prior to any meetings between myself and Doug to really set the 2017 expenditure budget. So what we do to lay out to the county is a current, this is kind of high end of what our expectations are. That way we get the allocation necessary to fund everything we need to do. So that number could change. That's just based on, obviously, annual raises. We build in a 1% just, not cost of living, but inflation increase on all contractual services, commodities, capital, things like that. So that's just kind of how it's laid out right now, and that could totally change as far as cutting expenditures, changing expenditures based on more realistic numbers when we meet with all the department directors in July. This is kind of the first step in the budget process.
Okay.
So it'll all get ironed out starting in July and August.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
No problem.
All right. Any other questions, Mr. Burton? Okay, thank
All
you.
right, appreciate it. Thanks.
With that, I'll open our public hearing and ask if there's anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of the 2017 tax budget. Anyone to speak or comment on it? All right, hearing none, I'll declare this public hearing closed. And we'll move on to our second public hearing for this evening. I'd like to invite Assistant Chief Hoffman down to present an update on the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Each year we apply for a grant through the Edward Byrne Memorial, or the JAG grant, and it's time for that again this year. Our grant approval for this year is $33,000 $279. Part of the grant application requirement is that we give the community an opportunity to comment on the expenditures that we're planning. We typically do that through a public hearing. That's what we're doing tonight. And also to make council aware of the grant application. Later tonight during the consent agenda, then, we'll be asking you for authorization for the city manager to go ahead and apply for the grant. The grant application's due at the end of the month, so we have time to incorporate any comments from council or the community into the application. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Assistant Chief Hoffman? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll declare a public hearing for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant open, and ask if there's anyone to speak in favor or in opposition to the proposed grant. Okay, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing, and we will move on to our next agenda item, our citizens' comments. I'd like to invite Jerry Lynn Maples down. Good evening. If we get your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Jerry Lynn Maples, 3200 Barber Drive, Middletown, Ohio, 45044.
Good evening.
Good evening. I appreciate you guys accommodating me to come and speak today. I guess as I go through my PowerPoint, I can just say next, please. And
Or you can, whichever.
okay. As most of you know, I am a resident here in Middletown. In 2007, I ran for your guys' job, but since then I've been very, very busy. And currently I'm a student at Union Institute and University in the doctoral program, but I also work there as the Veteran Service Coordinator. And so I asked to come speak tonight to tell you a little bit about our university and things like that. Part of the reason is because I see a lot of exciting things going on in the city as far as growth and projects like AK's research facility, as well as the exciting stuff going on at the mall. And I feel like our university really has a lot of programs that can help make the citizens of Middletown and those who choose to move here really in line with those positions as they come open. Go to the next slide. So a little bit about Union Institute and University. You can see here that our three of our highlights of our mission are to engage, enlighten, and empower. And I really feel like those three missions align with a lot that's going on here in the city. To the next slide. We are housed here in Cincinnati. That is our main location. All of our headquarters are headquartered out of there, and that's where I'm located. But we do have 5 universities locations across the country, as they are listed here on the PowerPoint: Brattleboro, Vermont, Miami, Sacramento, and Los Angeles. And we are an online university, and we specialize in adult education. We do offer quite a bit of services at the university, which really is a highlight to why I'm here today, as far as career counseling and things like that. As the city grows, I feel that our university can help prepare our residents here through programs like career preparation, resume writing, interview skills. I have a lot of partners with my office as far as employment and things like that. And we do have a pretty awesome online library, so that's pretty great. Like I said, we have been educating adults for 50 plus years. We have currently about 1,500 students and about 15,500 alumni and about 400 plus faculty across our 5 locations. We do consider our university diverse, which is something that we are very, very proud of. It's kind of hard to see up there, huh? Now, we do offer bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs. The couple that I wanted to highlight is that if you didn't know, we are partnered with the City of Middletown Police Department. We do have scholarship program available through them, and just recently during the Police Appreciation Week, we brought some cookies, which they enjoyed quite a bit. But we also have different. We have the criminal justice program, but we also have emergency services management, as well as a lot of other degrees that serve well with I think with the residents here in Middletown. We also do have some master's degrees available as well, and they're listed up here as well, and they're in your packet if anybody wants to look those over, as well as the PhD program, and those are available too in your packet. Like I said, we have been educating adults for about 50 plus years. As you can see, we started in 1964, and we've been doing that quite well. One thing that we kind of like to tease about is we do love the online faculty prospect, because we don't have to send boxes out anymore with books and things like that. We can actually just have our students do a lot online. So that's really, really neat. Some highlights of alumni at our university is we have 25 college presidents who have graduated from Union Institute University. We also have public leaders and private leaders, as well as folks who are running nonprofit sectors. We have members of Congress who have graduated from Union Institute University, as well as authors. And pictured here with President Obama is the first ever female Prime Minister of Jamaica. So that's kind of cool. And one important fact is that we are accredited through the Higher Learning Commission. So that means anybody on your NCAA AA bracket during March Madness, we have the same accreditation as they do. If anyone wants to apply to the university, it's really three simple processes. Basically, you just go online. There's a free application. There's a brief essay, and then you have arranged to have transcripts sent to us. There is, depending on if you're in the bachelor's, master's, or doctoral level, there is a couple other things like resumes and things like that. But our enrollment counselors are really good about taking care of that for you. And another really exciting thing that I really want to highlight while I'm here is I did mention I am the Veteran Service Coordinator with the university. I started there a little over a year ago after finishing my master's degree, and what brought me there was the fact that they really wanted to support a veterans program. I work a lot. I have about 200 community partners throughout Middletown and Cincinnati and Dayton. And one of the things that we really emphasize on working is bringing veterans into our community, because they have a lot to offer. And so we work really closely about educating our community members and folks like that on what they have to bring to our communities, because we do want them to come here when they relocate. So through the Veterans Resource Center, last year we were able to we were awarded a nonprofit grant, and we were able to fund 15 veterans with a $2,500 living allowance stipend for 3 semesters. They're able to transfer up to 90 credits in combination with prior military experience as well as prior education. And as long as they enrolled full-time, maintained a certain GPA, and they were able to get that stipend for the first 3 semesters, as long as they maintain that. I'm here to announce that we also are awarded that same grant this year. So now we are able to fund 25 veterans, and I asked them to include Chapter 31 VOC rehab in that benefit, because one thing that I saw was a lot of veterans, they use their GI Bill and they don't get their degree, and that's really disappointing because I want them, that's one of my pet peeves is I want them to get the most out of their GI Bill. And some of them come home and they don't have the GI Bill because maybe they, used it already and they have to retrain. Maybe they got injured or something like that. So they have other benefits available to them. And my personal goal is to see that every veteran gets an education, and it's really empowering. And I really think that my university is the avenue to empower communities and military families. One thing that I wanted to highlight is I do work with them on GI Bill and VA benefits. I work with them to transfer their credits. I show them how to get that done. And on the next slide, I want to show how the university is not just supporting the veteran, but their family as well. Because families, as I know, are very important to make sure that there's there to support the family as well. So we work with military spouses, and they have benefits scholarships through our university, as well as the dependent children. And that all is in your packet to review. I did mention earlier that we do have a partnership with the city through the police department. We believe in giving credit for career learning. So, for example, if the city had a need for the fire department and things like that, anything that they're working on in their workshops and their training, we can work with them to have that credited into our university if they wanted to work on a degree. So that's something that we fully believe in. And they can do that in any combination as well, transfer credits. So just a little bit to tell you what I do, aside from all this, other projects that I have going on in the Resource Center that I think would be very, very beneficial to the folks, the residents here in the city of Middletown. And that is that I held a veterans professional workshop just recently where I worked with the veterans on transferring their military experience into civilian world, so what the language was to use and things like that. So I had some partners come in and talk to them about that, as well as virtually, because we are online university, so I wanted to reach out even further. I had employers such as P&G and Total Quality Logistics and folks like that come online and talk to veteran spouses and veterans about the programs that they have and the positions that they had available to them and how to apply for them. And that was really successful. And just, things like that. It's really important to support our veterans, and so I just wanted to come and share that with you today. And I don't really think I need to go over this slide right now. But if there's any questions, there's my contact information. Don't look at the picture because I'm not a fan of it. But if anyone has any questions.
Great. Well, thank you for coming down tonight. Any questions for Ms. Maples this evening? So, certainly appreciate the update, and it's good to have that information, and appreciate the work you're doing to help others and help the veterans especially. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. And with that, we can move to our city manager reports. Mr. Landon?
The only thing I have to report this evening is that I am pinch hitting for Doug tonight. He is taking a well-deserved vacation this week.
Yeah.
And with me this evening, serving as our legal advisor tonight, is our new staff attorney, Sarah Fox, who's been with the city about 5 weeks now. And this is her first council meeting, her first exposure to that. Otherwise, don't have anything else to report.
All right, thank you very much. That brings us to our consent agenda. Ms. Skank?
For your consideration this evening, we have the approval of the City Council minutes from June the 7th, 2016, to receive and file board and commission minutes from the Civil Service Commission from February the 11th, March the 17th, and May the 5th, 2016. To approve the purchase of a Case 580N backhoe loader from the Southwestern Equipment Company of Monroe, Ohio, in the amount of $56,190, including a trade-in for the Division of Street Maintenance.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion for the approval of the issues and actions listed on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Kank, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
All right, we have two motion items. First, to receive, file, and adopt the 2017 tax budget for the city of Middletown. This was the subject of our first public hearing. Any other questions or comments on that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to receive and file and adopt the tax budget.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Kank, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
And our second motion item is to authorize the city manager to submit a grant application and enter into a grant agreement for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, which was also the subject of a public hearing this evening.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
All right. Ms. Kank, would you call the roll?
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
That brings us to our council comments this evening. Start with Mr. Bohannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week, Vice Mayor Bronston and I attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Instaglass. Very large turnout, actually, pouring down rain, but it was very good company. I'm surprised how many businesses, just in those 6 months that I've been on council, of ribbon cuttings that we've done in this town. Fantastic amount of new businesses coming to town, and plenty more coming. We get updates all the time on ribbon cuttings that are coming in the future, and it just keeps coming, so that's wonderful. Also, I want to thank the staff and the contributors to the multicultural event that was held this weekend. It was a good success. Other than that, I wish everyone a happy 4th of July. I guess we won't meet until after that, so come out to the parade and hope it's a good weather day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ms. Bronson?
Yes, we did attend quite a number of ribbon cuttings. We also went to the Taku Steakhouse, didn't we? And so we showed up there, and the facility is great. And I haven't tasted the food yet, but I'm waiting for a special occasion to go. Maybe my sister will go with me. Also, I went to the Grace Baptist Church for their 71st anniversary. And annually, they have the elected officials in, and they give us gifts and pray for us. I did find out from Pastor Max that we are on a prayer list that rotates and cycles every couple of months, and our names are on that list for open prayer with his church family. So I thought that was great. The other thing that I did that was really exciting, I went to one of the movies in the park. And I saw the movie Inside Out. It was a great movie. It was at Jayco Park. There was free popcorn and ices and things like that. The weather was great, and I had a good time. And I guess I just have one other announcement. We have the Wounded Warriors coming in. They will be greeted by the VFW Local 3809. And they'll be here from July 7th through July 10th, and kind of piggybacks on Union Institute, I guess, and what she was saying in support of those people that have served our country. And I think that concludes my comments.
Okay, thank you very much. I, too, would like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. We do have some great events planned on July 2nd. The parade's a little different this year with the blast they're doing at Smith Park and some of the fun festivities. So look forward to seeing everyone at that, and look forward to a great holiday weekend. Certainly we have a lot to be thankful for with the freedoms we enjoy in this country, and certainly something to pause and recognize and remember on our Independence Day. And with that, we can move to our legislation this evening. Ms. Fox?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. This evening we have 5 items of legislation. 3 of them are second readings. 1 of them is a first reading. We do also have an emergency item, but no actions being requested today. First up, we have ordinance number 02016-18. This is an ordinance establishing a procedure for and authorizing a contract with AVI SPL for the purchase and installation of audio and video equipment. This is a second reading. This is for the audio-video upgrade for the City Council chambers. And there's previously been a presentation by Mr. Adkins at the last council meeting on this. It is ready for action.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion or comments? Ms. Kank, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Next up, we have ordinance number O 2016-19. This is an ordinance establishing a procedure for and authorizing the extension of the current contract with Smartbill LTD for the printing and mailing of water bills. This is also a second reading. There was a previous presentation by Mr. Adkins. It is ready for action.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion or comments? All right, Ms. Skank, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
And the last second reading will be ordinance number O 2016-20. This is an ordinance establishing a procedure for and authorizing the extension of the current contract with Smartbill LTD for the printing and mailing of tax bills. This is also a second reading with a previous presentation, and it is ready for action.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion or comments? Okay, Ms. Skank, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Next up is ordinance number O 2016-21. This is an ordinance authorizing a collective bargaining agreement with AFSCME Local 856. This is for Public Works for July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2019. This is declaring an emergency, but no action is requested until July 5th, 2016. There is a presentation by Mr. Landon.
Okay, Mr. Byrne?
We have reached a negotiated settlement with the AFSCME unit for the Public Works Group. The settlement is consistent with the discussion that was had with council regarding the AFSCME unit about a month and a half ago in an executive session under collective bargaining. The expenditures are in line with those expenditures as shown at that time. The total cost of the contract over the entire 3-year period is around $350,000 total. That includes resolving the issues we had with the fact that we had fallen so far behind some of our competitors locally that we were losing folks to those places. We are asking for this to be an emergency at the next meeting. The new contract will be effective July 1st in order to avoid any retroactive pay having to be paid. If we can pass this as an emergency next time, there will be no need for retroactive pay, and everything will be in place on the date it needs to be in place.
Good. Very good. Any questions for Mr. Lehman? All right, thank you.
Lastly, we have ordinance number O 2016-22. This is an ordinance authorizing a contract with Gulls LLC for the purchase of police uniforms. This is a first reading. No action is needed this evening, but there will be a presentation by Mr. Landon.
As you know, we have had a contract with the same vendor for years and years for police uniforms. On this particular year, we actually rebid this out, and we got the best bid from Gulls LLC, a company which we have not done business with police uniforms in the past. This, I believe, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a 3-year contract with a potential for a couple 1-year extensions. And we will be asking for approval at the next meeting on this.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Landon? All right.
Mayor Mulligan, that concludes the legislation for this evening.
Great, thank you very much. With that, no other business. We'll be in recess until our meeting on July 5th, 2016 in these chambers. Thank you all. Have a good evening and a good 4th of July.
Good job. First one under your belt.
Went pretty smooth.
Get you a tough one for the next one.
Yeah.